Hey VC, hope everyone's doing okay. Hope everyone had a good 4th of July as well, American Independence Day. You can tell how long this video is overdue because it's, what is it, the 6th of July now? 7th? So yeah, this is my vinyl finds for June. Here's everything I found in the month of June. So for this month, you may notice that there's a lot more thrift store finds, especially more than normal. I had really made an effort this month to try to go to as many garage sales and check the thrift stores as frequently as possible, at least around me in the Waco area. I didn't get a chance when I visited my parents last weekend up in DFW to look at any thrift stores. I did go to some record stores, and I'll show that stuff later. But first I want to show all the thrift store stuff, and just to kind of show that even if you think thrift stores around you might be kind of crappy, definitely worth it to go check at least every once in a while, because I found some crazy stuff, which I'm going to be showing Grails up front. So right off the bat, Baby Huey story, living legend, 50 cents. Original US press, gatefold, all that good stuff. You may notice the cover is not in amazing shape, and I was a little worried about the record. I think even a completely trashed record would still net a few bucks. I played this one through. I had never heard this before all the way through. This is a great record. I would say maybe VG at the very best. This is actually a surprisingly good sounding record, especially in the songs where you turn the volume up and it's just like a real jam. There's a great version on here, like a 9.5 minute version of "A Change Is Gonna Come" by Sam Cooke. That might be the definitive version of that song. That is such a good song. So the story with Baby Huey, he tragically passed away at, I think it was 26 years old. He weighed, I think they said like 400 pounds, something like that. And he had a heroin addiction that doesn't help. And so, well, the story with this, he was like halfway done recording his debut record with his band, and it was on the I'm blanking on his name as a producer, Curtis Mayfield. Curtis Mayfield's Kurt Tom label. He's halfway through recording a record, and the half that he did record is so good. I wish he could have recorded a full thing. And so really you get half of a great 10 out of 10 soul record, and the other half is like a late 60s instrumental thing, like with session musicians, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but again, you do miss those Baby Huey vocals. So that is a killer find. These go for crazy amounts online. Like if you find this in a record store, an original press, at least I don't want to say like 80-90 bucks. Online they're even crazier, but at least double digits for this. So 50 cents is just an insane find. And normally it was $1, but they're having a sale, 50% off, select items, and that included records. Another one of those that I got from there is sort of a rare-ish one. Not in love with the cover here, but this is Terry Riley. Album's called A Rainbow in Curved Air. I listened to the first half of this. It's one of those where it's just 2 tracks, 1 track on each side. This is like a electronic sort of neoclassical record. You can see it's on the Columbia Masterworks label, which is the first record I own on that exact label. I think all the Moondog stuff is also on the Masterworks label. And so that may be an indication of what to expect from this. I'm not a huge Moondog fan. I say that. I know he's well loved on the VC, but I just can't get into it because I don't really like classical that much. No offense. But this is cool. This is like early electronic stuff. He lists the instruments he plays on here. It's like a lot of electric organ, but it's played in a way where it's like droning, kind of ambient, almost just music. And stuff like electric harpsichord, roxachord, whatever that is. you know, it's just a really interesting record. And again, kind of a good find for 50 cents. I think these also go for double digits. Not as crazy as the Baby Huey record, but I think at least like probably 20, 25 bucks for that. And condition on the cover is not amazing, and the record is, again, just like a VG, but plays pretty well. Good 50-cent find. Another 50-cent find, just a classic that was not in my collection. This is Stephen Stills and Manassas, or you could just call it Manassas. This is a really cool package, honestly. It's a really sturdy gatefold cover with his large band. Chris Hillman, I think, was, if I'm remembering right, the bass player from the Byrds. And so you got Stephen Stills and Chris Hillman together. Dallas Taylor is also a familiar name. I just can't place where he's from. And so all these guys, you know, they have a really good little, you know, late 60s / early 70s-esque blues rock sort of band. You know, you kind of know what to expect from Stephen Stills. This is a double album, kind of broken up into 4 parts, and this includes the poster that came with it. It's like a big fold-out thing, so that's pretty neat. You don't typically expect to find all the inserts and stuff in thrift store records, at least in my experience. Here's one I've been looking for anything by this artist, and this is the first thing I've ever seen in the wild. Cover is in 2 distinct pieces, so there you go. But this is Michael Nesmith and the First National Band. I think this is either their 2nd or 3rd record under the First National Band. But Michael Nesmith, of course, from the Monkees. I haven't listened to this one yet. It's on the RCA. This is like a Dynaflex press, so I don't know if this is an original press, but that is clean. Look at that. That's in pretty good shape. The record, anyway. You saw the cover. Couldn't leave that behind for 50 cents. Couple more here. I'll go through these quickly. This is Michael Wendroff. I think that's how you say his name. The cover just kind of intrigued me. There were some old half-price book stickers on there. I'm talking like 2004 and 5. This is a promo of this record. It's on the Buddha label, not a white label, but you can see it promotion only. It's got a punch out. It's how to describe this, 70s folk rock, that sort of Bob Dylan-esque folk rock with a 70s tinge to, obviously. There was one song on here that really reminded me of Hotel California. I want to say it was like the 2nd or 3rd track, but this one's on YouTube. Give this a listen. It's definitely worth listening to. You may enjoy it if that's sort of your thing. And last couple, kind of blow through these quickly. Couldn't leave Love Shack behind. I know people have mixed feelings about this B-52 song, but couldn't leave it. Maxi single. And these 2 Sade records. I wouldn't say that Sade is a guilty pleasure, but you know, these surprisingly are actually a couple bucks every time you see them in a record store. Probably could spend $20 on those 2 records. So that's all the 50-cent stuff. I got those from a random thrift store. I don't remember the name of it. It's like Treasure Village or something like that in Waco. Like an actual charity shop. I think they actually are run by a charity organization. But the rest of these are from the Salvation Army store in Waco. These were 3 for $1. I'll kind of blow through these quickly. Haven't listened to this yet, but this is Ike Turner, Blues Roots. Pretty cool embossed cover. It's like a trunk or something. Let's see. It's on the United Artists label. It's got a gatefold. There he is. And you may notice, I don't know if you could really see it on the cover, there's a signature there by the previous owner, and you can see it more clearly on the back. Evelyn's, something with a P, the last name. I can't really read that, but all of these are from their collection, apparently. So there was that one. Stuffed inside of the cover of that was this other Ike Turner record. This one's by Ike Turner and the Kings of Rhythm. It's called A Black Man's Soul. I really wish I could have had the cover to this one, because one, it's a cool cover and it's a cool sounding record. I kind of sampled a little bit on YouTube, and these are actually somewhat valuable. Who knew? Speaking of somewhat valuable, there's some original Blue Note pressings from her collection. They're all Jimmy Smith, which, you know, he sold a crap ton of records, especially on Blue Note. And these all have like destroyed spines because they weren't kept in the paper sleeves. But this is the Sermon original mono press. Pull out the label. You see the 47. Can't really see it that well. It's a 47 with 63rd Blue Note. Sorry about the glare. But all these are first pressings. So there's that. There was this one, again, just stuffed in one of the covers. It just says The Incredible Jimmy Smith, but this is a, I think it's from volume 1 or 2 of two separate Jimmy Smith records on Blue Note. Forget their names. And the last one here, Prayer Meeting with Stanley Turrentine, again, original press. This one was in shrink wrap. I took that off because it was gross, and it was kind of warping a little bit. So kind of cool. And 2 more Jimmy Smith, not on Blue Note, so not as cool inherently. These are, this one's Organ Grinder Swing featuring Kenny Burrell. Everyone knows Kenny Burrell. And the last one here is a budget label, Pickwick, Stranger in Paradise. 3 for $1. Those are cool. Alright, so that's all the thrift stuff. I'll kind of explain everything as I go forward. That's only like halfway through the stack, guys. These I got from a used bookstore in Waco called Golden Books. You go in there, it's kind of if you like to dig through physical media in general, books, CDs, records, comics, you should definitely check it out. They had some records. Some of them were, you know, your typical budget country stuff that you'd expect to see. And I gotta go back and, well, one, I gotta formulate a list of cheap country stuff that I need to get, because I've been saying I need to stock up on country for a while, and I'm in the perfect place to do it. If any of you guys are looking for country records, let me know, because I don't really know what I'm looking for. I just know, like, the bigger artists like Johnny Cash and your Buck Owens and guys like that. Anyway, there were a couple cool things in there. First one, Best of Van Morrison. This is all his, it's a compilation on Bang Records, so it's all the recordings from the Bang Records sessions featuring the big hit Brown Eyed Girl. This is not a first press of this. It's actually, I believe, like a second press on this Bang label. I think the original Bang Records label is pretty cool, but the reissue's not bad either. Just cool. I always need more Van Morrison on vinyl. And then this is the cleanest copy of this record I've ever seen. The band, self-titled. I wish I could find a copy of Music from Big Pink. I remember seeing one years ago and stupidly not picking it up and regretting it. Never seen one since. Again, super clean. I mean, that gatefold isn't even open all the way. And it's not a first press, but it's on this Purple Capitol label. And I've had experience with this Purple Capitol label, like with some Beatles stuff. Like, I used to own a copy of the White Album on that label, and honestly, it sounded pretty good. So I've heard comparisons between you know, original Capitol pressings. The Capitol Rainbow stuff is cool, and it's cool to have. Doesn't always sound the greatest, and it's hard to find in good condition. So I'll happily take a near mint copy on a reissue, especially for, like, you know, a percentage of the cost of a Rainbow label. Okay, so this one is my wife's record, and honestly, I was kind of pleasantly surprised by the quality of this. This is Beyonce, Lemonade. This is not her most recent record anymore, but really great packaging, super heavy gatefold cover. She has gone all out. It's got, you know, printed sleeves. It's on yellow vinyl. I think every copy of this is on yellow vinyl. It's not like a special thing or anything. And it has this huge, I mean, pretty large booklet with all these great photographs. This is like a really high quality package deal. And it's just really cool to find. She found this used. She's been wanting this for a while. I've heard good things about the pressing, like the vinyl itself, so we'll have to listen to that sometime. I haven't been keeping up with VC videos like I've been meaning to. I have watched quite a few in the past couple days especially, but in the past month or so I've kind of missed out. And so I don't think I've seen anyone show this yet. I've seen a lot of people talk about it on Instagram just because it was a highly anticipated reissue, and it's really cool that it got reissued. I'm talking about Mort Garson's Plantasia, or Mother Earth's Plantasia by Mort Garson. So this is, it says warm earth music for plants and the people who love them. The theory, or the concept behind the record is, you know, it's music for plants, it's electronic, made with synthesizers. This reissue is on Sacred Bones Records. I have been aware of them, but I have never ordered anything from them. The way they do it, at least with this reissue, they have 4 versions available. The differences being you can either get it on green vinyl or black vinyl. Me being the sucker that I am, I had to get it on green vinyl. And then the other option was between either a standard jacket or a tip-on jacket. The tip-on just being a little bit higher quality. Comes with a cool booklet full of plant wisdom. I think this was on the original press. Just kind of talking a little bit about each track and sort of the plants that they're for. Each track is for a different type of plant. And in the back here, they do explain, which I do appreciate the transparency, they explain that the original masters for this record are long gone. They were probably destroyed not long after this was originally issued. And so what they did for the remaster, they just found the cleanest vinyl copy that they could from the original press and just mastered it based off of that. So it's not a perfect pressing. Even if you had a mint record fresh off the press, flawless record, there would still be a little bit of surface noise because the original copy had minor amounts of surface noise that were picked up. And the other thing about this, I forgot to even mention, this was originally released, I forget what year, I think it was either late 60s or early 70s, and it was basically only released in California. And so if you're going to find an original pressing, you're more likely to stumble across it in California. But it was given out for free with the purchase of a plant in like select garden and plant stores. That's just like a really interesting way to distribute a record. And Mort Garson, you may know him. He wrote like a ton of other records. The one that I own is that Zodiac record on Elektra 4000 label. Just like the cosmic sounds of the Zodiac. It's like a spoken word thing with this sort of psychedelic music playing behind it. Kind of cool. He also wrote this later in his life. Pretty neat. Great reissue. And this is all stuff I got in DFW, so I'll show these real quick. Just blow through these. I've been picking up anything Yardbirds that I can find. So over, under, sideways, down. Really cool, very clean, yellow Epic label. Cool to have it. The original collector wrote Yardbirds right there, and I can tell that this next one is from the same collector because they wrote the name of the artist there. This is Monster Mash. This is an upgrade for me. 1, because I didn't have the sleeve, which is really cool, and 2, because the record is in super great condition. Just a fun record. I was talking to my wife about that. You would think you would see Monster Mash out there more, but I have actually only ever seen it twice, and I bought both copies that I saw. So I picked up Randy Newman's Sail Away. I knew Randy Newman, obviously, everyone knows him, and I'm not going to get into my entire feelings about him, but this record I thought was good, but not amazing. I mean, his 12 songs LP is fantastic. This one's not as good as that, but still pretty good. I think this came out like a couple years later. This one's on the, I think it's on the brown Yeah, brown reprise label. Nothing too fancy. That was like a $3 or $4 find. Another like $3 find. Fairport Conventions, unhalf bricking. I'm not in love with, this is the US cover of this. Not in love with that cover. I think the British one's definitely better, but the record's good. You can't really go wrong with the Fairport Convention's first, I think 3 or 4 records. The ones with Sandy Denny especially. Sorry about that, my phone did a weird thing. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. A Fever Tree, nice $5 find. Super clean, original press, there you go. An upgrade, I had a stereo press of this, but this is a mono original, another side of Bob Dylan, just essential Dylan. This is his last sort of traditional quote-unquote folk record. 2 that I've been looking for a long time. Not an original press, but this is the Byrds' Sweetheart of the Rodeo, 1968. This is a later 70s press on that Columbia label. Of course, Graham Parsons joined the Byrds for one album, and that's that one. Just great country rock. And then the last one here, I've been looking for this for a while. It's Blue Cheer. I think this is their debut full length, outside inside, just sort of garage or proto metal, even blues rock. Would not be out of place on like an Acid compilation, or like a Nuggets or something like that. Just great stuff. I don't think there's as big a hit on this one as like Summertime Blues or anything like that, but it's still a great record on the Philips label. There you go. Yeah, that's everything I had. Sorry I had to speed that up a little bit. My battery's dying right now. I will see you guys in the next one. I will be catching up on videos. Leave me a like, that would help a lot, and a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.